Hi gang, this is Mike G from MrG TV, and I'm streaming with two cameras. So I've got you guys on YouTube and you guys in the Facebook group, both MrG TV. Capital M, small r, capital G for Mike G, Mr. G, and then capital TV, no gaps. So that's where you'll find me. And on most Monday nights, I'm doing Ask Mike Monday. Now, you might say to yourself, well, it's Sunday, Mike. Well, I did explain actually in my interactive Facebook group that I would be doing Ask Mike Monday on a Sunday this week, because tomorrow I'm touring, I'm on the road. I've been in the UK now for 3 months, and I really need, hi John, I really need to catch up with my friends and family. So John's just coming on. A very good mate of mine from Nottingham, so I'm going to be going to see him, but I'm actually going to Torquay tomorrow for a week, so that's why Ask Mike Mondays or Sunday, so that we can get through these questions. So if you guys have got any questions for me, interactive at the moment, both on YouTube and in the Facebook group, you're very, very welcome. Most people watch on catch up, and it's such a beautiful Sunday today. I'm aware that Sunday's not the best day to ask people to watch this ugly mug, but I wanted to honour the questions that have already been asked. If you've got any questions for me, and you can ask them for free on MrG TV, just inbox me, email me, private message me, text me on my mobile, and I'll give it out. I'm accessible to everybody for free. It's 07860 138 265. That's 07860 138 265. I don't know any hypnotists, therapists who give out their personal details. I do. I'm there for you for free. If you want to chat, I'm here for that. So basically where I am with everything is I've worked corporately as a hypnotist for over 20 years. Hi Mark. I am a Reiki Master Tutor, a 4th Dan Mixed Martial Arts instructor, and a clinical psychologist. And I've been working with all sorts of organisations. Hi Jane. Just you guys at the moment in YouTube aren't seeing the interaction on the MrG TV Facebook page, but you're welcome to comment. And cut a long story short, I never say that I'm right, but what I do say is I'm offering it for your consideration. At the end of the day, you are your own best expert. You know what's right for you. I'm just actually writing some messages here. So here we go. I just want to talk about things that maybe you won't hear expressed anywhere else. I'm not talking about stuff that will get us deleted. I don't want the platform to be deleted. I help so many people who are in all sorts of states of mind and body and emotions that my support to them and with them, hi Dave Williams, is so important that I really don't want to disconnect. So honour that, guys. Don't get me deleted by saying things which would be considered inappropriate, but we do have ways of getting around that. So we can use code words and we can use gestures. Okay, so be savvy, be savvy. So I'm going to start with the first question, which actually came in last, from Mark Williams, and this sets the scene. You can ask me anything tonight, and as I say, if you want to leave your questions for next Monday, as I say, it's Sunday, I'm aware, but I'm going away tomorrow, so we're one night early. So if you want to leave me a question, text me. I've just given you my mobile. You can email me at mike@mrmikegarner.com. All my contact details are on my website, which is mrmikegarner.com. You just put Mr. Mike Garner into any search engine and you'll get hold of me. Okay, so Mark's question is, dreams are interesting. Some say that we wake up when we think we're asleep. And some think that when we're awake, that's when we're asleep. So in other words, there's like a duality, a vice versa. So people think that this so-called waking state is a dream, that we're actually asleep dreaming this, and that when we go to sleep tonight and put our head on the pillow or wherever we put our head to sleep, that's when we wake up. So what do you guys think? Have you considered waking and sleeping and what's going on there? Let's talk about this. And if you're watching this on catch up, you can put your comments, because they'll come up in real time. And as last week and a lot of these Ask Mike Mondays that I've done, or question and answer sessions, which I think are superb, the conversation will continue often days, weeks after the actual live. And your opinion matters. You are significant. You have your own point of view. I call it your own point of attention, that you've got your own files, you've had your own experiences, and you've formed some decisions. Share them, have some power. Don't make anybody wrong. I won't make you wrong. It's just all for our consideration. So what do you guys think? Who, first of all, dreams? So there's Jimmy. Hi, Jimmy. I am for when in hypnosis we are out of it, and when out of it we're in. Yeah, that's a bit like Mark saying, Jimmy. So Jimmy's a hypnotist and so am I. And what he's saying is that when you're in hypnosis, you're connecting to the real you. And when you're out of hypnosis, eyes open, waking state, then that is a dream. So you wake up in the morning, you open your eyes, and you're actually in a dream with your eyes open. Maybe my belief is that we don't have eyes, that everything is just a projection. So Jane's just commenting there, which is interesting. And she's saying, and I hope you can see the comments, guys. Just swipe left or right on your device. The comments will come up and you can contribute, like, challenge positively, lovingly. Say what you think. So Jane's saying that, hi Rose, funny, I've just read something about that 15 minutes ago in the book I'm on now, The Yoga of Jesus. So she said, give me 2 seconds, I'll get the quote. Okay, get the quote, Jane. Hi Rose, in South Africa, coming in from all over the world. And Pamela's saying, dreamt about crystals last night. Fantastic. We are crystalline in structure. That's a conversation in itself. And you're probably watching me on a crystal display, a LED crystal display, which is why it's called LCD. The clues are in the initials, rather like MRI scan, which is a magnetic resonance image. And people say, do you really believe in frequency and vibration and crystals? And yes, I do. And so do mainstream scientists, if they're open-minded enough to admit it. But quite often, for some reason, they seem to think it's going to take them down a rabbit hole where they'll lose control. You've got the control. So that's interesting what Jimmy said there, isn't it? Because he's the hypnotist and so am I. And when we put people into trance, that's when we make a true connection to the person before the programming. I'll repeat that again. When you go into trance, that's the real you. Now you go into trance when you close your eyes and you go into a dream state. When you think you're asleep, you're in a hypnotic brainwave of theta delta or light sleep alpha, which are clinically measurable. So here's the quote from Jane. I'll finish that sentence in a minute. Sleep is a reminder of what is beyond the state of sleep. That's interesting. It's the state of the soul. At night time, man dumps the body into the subconscious and becomes an angel. I like that idea. This is from this book that Jane's reading from. It says, in daytime, he becomes once more a devil divorced from the spirit by the desires and sensations of the body. Don't like that word, that will become a devil. I wouldn't agree with that, but I respect the opinion. And Rose Chapman is saying, oh, we're at a barbecue. We'll try and stay as long as possible. Long weekend here. Okay, Rose, no problem. Thanks for dropping in. Hiya, Karen Pritchard Williams. Good to see you. So what do you guys think about that? Do you feel quite strong words there? And it's not Jane saying it, she's quoting from a book. So that's not Jane's opinion, that she's actually reading from a book that she's reading. And she's agreeing with me there. I didn't like the devil bit either. But the rest of it I could relate to, completely agree. Hi, Karen. So where we are with it, dreams are like being in a different reality. At least as real as this. Yeah, I agree. That's what Mark's saying. Some of the dreams I have don't make them realities. Well, psychologists will say, and when I studied this for my degree, that there's 4 states of consciousness, and they're all you in different states of reality. So there's waking state, which we tend to say is when we have our eyes open, but I actually don't believe we have eyes. Not eyes in the way that traditional biology, physiology, not the way that it's traditionally defined. I believe that your eyes are cameras and projectors. So what actually happens is you've got the ability to see things with your eyes, but not through your eyes. That you've got nerves that, interestingly enough, the eyes are the only nerves that aren't covered by skin. All the other nerves are covered by skin, and actually they're only covered by skin when we blink our eyes. But the eyes are actually so sensory sensitive, photosensitive. They are full of photons, electrons and neutrons, and they are feeding the optic nerve, such as it is, and it's interacting with the outer universe and the inner universe within us, and the outer universe that we perceive is external to us. But we're connected to it all, and I actually believe more than we are receiving information in, that we're actually projecting it out there. That what happens is, when I see that pen, I'm not seeing it. It's going in my eyes and decoding it to say that's a pen. What actually I'm doing is, I needed a pen to explain this concept. So I put the pen out there. That you are putting everything out there, rather like your mobile phone hasn't got the capacity to hold all the pictures, memories, memes, themes, apps. So you have to put a memory card to give you more memory. I think the external world is part of your memory card. In other words, that you can't contain everything between your temples in your mind, this crystal palace. So you create an external experience because you can't hold it all in your mind. And you put it out there so that you can see it. So Jane's saying, I think the dream states takes us to a place to explore our spirit soul state. There are meanings in the dreams that are told to us in a way that we can understand them if we learn to translate, interpret them. Yeah, that's the Dreamweaver, Native American, and many natives of many indigenous tribes, populations and communities. I believe that communication in spirit is very different, and therefore the messages have come in something we can relate to. I'm dreaming journaling at the moment, and it's helped me a lot. This is what Jane's saying. Nice to know. I hope you get to lucid dreaming at some point where I can communicate in that soul space. Yes, well, we'll be sharing astral projection by location, lucid dreaming, lucid living. And Karen's saying, I agree, life force is a two-way thing. Yes, I'm on that wavelength with you, Karen. I think we put it out there. I think that this is an interesting concept. I've got this Phoenix picture behind me. Blind people use sound and touch to generate detailed 3D images of their surroundings. They use other senses to form their world. Absolutely. They pick it up vibrationally and because they think their optic nerve is redundant or their eyes don't work, their lenses don't work, they have a different level of perception. I think they're gifted in having heightened ESP. You see, I get back to that 4 stages of reality, but I had an Auntie Gladys, and she wasn't an auntie, but when I was a young boy, anybody that was a friend of the family was an auntie. She was my mum's best friend from Prestwich in North Manchester, where I was born, although I was brought up in South Manchester. And she worked for the blind. And she told me that she used to make cups of tea. And she went in one day to the residence lounge where a lady was having a conversation and there was nobody in the room. And when my Auntie Gladys, who was a volunteer for the blind, took the cup of tea in and said, I've got a cup of tea for you, Ethel. Just put it on the chair here on the table so you know where it is. And this Ethel said to my Auntie Gladys, could you bring one for Albert? Or Harold, I can't remember his name, but could you bring one for Ethel? Could you bring one for her invisible friend? Now, the reality is that Ethel saw in her mind's eye a pictorial image, like Jimmy's saying, of the gentleman she was talking to, and there was nobody there. But the question is, my Auntie Gladys couldn't see anybody in the empty chair, but Ethel could sense them. Now, that wasn't imagination, that was psychic contact. That was empathic connection. She was actually communicating with somebody who was vibrating, and because she couldn't see them because she was effectively blind, she didn't question that, you know, I'm losing my mind, I'm hearing things like you might do. You know, you hear a voice in your head, because you hear everything in your head, it's not out there, you hear it in your head. It's vibration on your eardrums and you decode it as being out there. And I don't believe there is that out there, but that's another story. But what's going on all the time is you're taking in this sensory information and you're making judgments. Now, if we heard something and there was nothing in the room, we'd either get very scared and worried and think we're losing the plot, or... But my Auntie Gladys didn't judge it. She just had the conversation with the nice gentleman. I think that was a passed over spirit. Maybe somebody who sat in that chair and died in that home, or maybe it was a visitor, a soul guide, part of this Ethel's soul team talking to her. So that's how it works, in my opinion. Now, if we heard it, we'd judge it and probably shit ourselves. I'd actually be quite fascinated. So ultimately, where we are with it all is that we have the ability to communicate, but because we use our senses, those senses work against us. Now, I'm all into, and I will be teaching in this group, tarot and empathic connection with tarot. In fact, you'll probably see my demonstrations, and I'll be doing it again during before the end of August and during September. Tarot demonstration for free on MrG TV, where I use empathic connection. I was doing it 7,000 miles away in Thailand. We've got Rose watching this 6,000 miles away in South Africa, and I've done many readings with her, connected to her empathically, psychically, over the ether. I'm a transmitter, she's a receiver, then she transmits and I receive. And that's what's happening all the time. And it doesn't matter that we can't see these spirits, that these souls haven't got bodies anymore. Maybe they never had bodies. But we can pick up information at an extrasensory level. That happens to us at night in our dreams. That's a heightened state of awareness in the dream state. I'm looking forward to reading for you, Karen. So I honestly believe that when we go to sleep, we access other realms, other dimensions, and we're not limited by the laws of this physical body. I agree. We trap ourselves in the five senses by default. As we become more aware, we realise there's much more beyond. The five senses work for the program we are in before we become aware. Now, I'm always teaching people, and in my healing circles within my private groups, and I actually did a demonstration live in this group of a healing circle on MrG TV within my Genesis group for the people that were in my course that I've just completed yesterday, which is Change Your Ways in 7 days. It was £1 a day, £7, and they got so much, and they're still in that group reviewing now what they did last week. So they won't leave that group until next weekend, and then watch this space for the next course, which is going to be programming, self-hypnosis, and that's going to be really powerful. And you can access metaphysical states. I use a lot of hypnosis for mind, body, spirit, metaphysics. In fact, trance states, whether it's for clinical, educational, inspirational, mind, body, spirit, goal setting, goal getting, changing personalities, deleting things, installing things, all starts with trance. And trance is part of transformation. Have you realised that? The clues are in the words transformation. You access trance and you become a better version of you. And that's why your dreams are amazing, unless you're having nightmares. But if you're having nightmares, we really do need to chat. And even your nightmares are clues, and they're metaphorically giving you clues so that when you come into what we perceive as the physical, you don't experience those nightmares as you perceive them. But nothing is scary. It's just information for your consideration. So Karen's saying, I've had so many vivid dreams whilst working nights in the last 2 weeks, almost like I'm still aware whilst being asleep, as I've not slept so well. Well, the thing is, when you don't sleep so well, ask the universe why you're not sleeping so well. Why is the universe keeping you awake? Are you missing something? Ask some good questions, Karen. Ask some good questions. And you'll get the answers in your dreams. When people pass over and they lose loved ones, when people leave this mortal coil, as they say, you can talk to, I've been talking to my dad. My dad's anniversary of his death is August the 14th. He's passed for 12 years. I talk to him every day. And it first started that he came to me the minute I left the hospice. But then I got a really good connection in dreams. And I was talking to him as if I'm talking to you now. Not make-believe, not woo-woo. It's not happening because I want it to happen. Because sometimes it's quite inconvenient. Sorry, Dad. I have to pull over the car, get my notebook out, or make some notes as to the clues he's giving me and the guidance and the wisdom that's coming through him from spirit. He's connected to a higher dimensional beings, and he's giving me guidance and signposts and direction. And you'll be getting that when you get tuned into it. So when we do the tarot training, which will probably be about October, you'll be making psychic connections, empathic connections, and you'll be working with your soul guides, so that your soul guides will be telling you what to say to your, either yourself if it's a self-reading, or to your friend who you're reading for, or a client. Everything starts with trance if you want to get out of this shit world. And I use the word shit with respect. I know it's a naughty word, but I love it because you can shift from the shit. S-H-I-T is shit. S-H-I-F-T is the shift. You see, Jimmy's saying something there that's interesting, and he's talking about, you can read the comments, he's saying, does anybody touch type? This is another sense called, I can't even pronounce that, proprioception. Knowing where your body parts are without looking. There are loads of other senses, how we sense the passing of time, sense of movement, worth delving into. Because when I play the piano or the keyboard or the guitar or drive my car, if I think about it, I can't do it. I've got to not think about it so that it happens automatically. And I think hypnosis is a really useful resource state And I'm going to be driving to Torquay tomorrow for 6 hours, and I can't wait to switch my mind off and drive and go into trance. But I'll drive at my best in that trance state. So Rosie's saying that she can type 120 a minute. So let's get back to Mark's question, which is, we've probably answered already. And Pamela's saying that she's partially deaf, and during lockdown it was an absolute nightmare for her. Well, okay, that's one way of explaining it, and I appreciate you sharing that. And I know they're just words, and I'm sure that you were blessed. I'm sure you were blessed during lockdown with or without your hearing. She relies on her eyes and mouths, sensory perception, yeah. And I bet you honed that. So Jimmy's having some more. So let's get back to this 4 states of consciousness. Still on this first question that Mark asked. Going well. Thanks for participating, guys. I'm looking forward to your comments when you watch the replay. But the 4 states are waking state as we perceive it. And then waking state, there are waking dreams or daydreams where you drift off. And when you drift off, where do you go? Well, you follow your thoughts, don't you? You follow your thoughts. And that's a resource state which can be utilized. And if you go into it accidentally, it's possible that you're just creating a still point for you and you're giving your mind a rest. It might be, as people perceive, that it's through boredom, but I actually think what you're doing is you're giving your brain a break. And then there's sleep state, and then sleep trance, which is sleep dreams or night dreams. But you can actually, if you're a night worker, as the lady's already said, and I was in the past, you can quite often sleep during the day, work at night, and so that's reversed. But both in what's perceived as eyes open waking state and eyes closed sleep state, you can slip into trance voluntarily or involuntarily. And I teach people how to access trance states. In fact, I've got a course coming up. Check that out, self-programming self-hypnosis, for 75 quid to teach you how to self-program. And I'll be sharing with you the tips of my trade. And if you enjoy that, you'll be invited to a 1-day demo, an interactive workshop, which will take place here in Colwyn Bay, but I'll also be presenting it live, so the people who can't come down will still be able to take advantage of it. Where I'll be teaching what would be considered as street hypnosis techniques, instant hypnosis, instant trance for yourself and other people, so you can use conversational hypnosis, an instant trance technique, and you are very powerful. Welcome back, Karen. She said she lost connection. So the 4 states are waking state, daydreams, sleeping state, and dreams in sleeping state, night dreams. And hopefully all your trance states and waking states and sleep states are pleasant states, positive states, loving states, constructive states. And if they're not, you can shift that. And if you can't shift that, call me and we can solve that very, very quickly. But it's already been mentioned that we tend to delve into more bizarre metaphors in our sleeps, that, you know, we have incidents and situations in sleeps that we have to dream weave. We have to, you know, there's people who do dream analysis or will explain your dreams, you know, that if you're dreaming of a particular animal, it means something, or a particular shape or a particular scenario. There are archetypal meanings to those. Now, the thing is that the thing is that that's the world also. We think that the world out there is solid. We think that, you know, like I say, that pen's real, that cup of tea is real, that picture behind me is real, although that was painted by a very spiritual lady who understands the power of a phoenix and the metaphor of the phoenix, rising from the phoenix, resurrection, ascension, transformation, growth, new beginnings. And then a black cat has meaning, doesn't it? And a cross has meaning, a symbol. That cross has got an archetypal meaning. And if it was upside down, it would have a different meaning. So everything is an inversion, right way up, wrong way round. Take care, John. Enjoy your dinner. So ultimately, everything has meaning, and our mind is always meaning making. That's a mouthful, that your mind is meaning making. Now you can attach any meaning to anything, and you can change the meaning if the meanings that you are getting don't work for you. So if you think you're having nightmares, just change that to adventures. They're adventures, and you can step back and don't attach to them. That's another story. But I believe that the outside world, you are also being shown it for your learning, and all the situations that you're in the same as your night dream experience, that's a metaphor also, that your partner that is brilliant or not brilliant, and your boss that's brilliant or not brilliant, and your experience on holiday that's good or not good as you perceive it. There's no good or not good. There's just situations that you're experiencing in what we call waking state and sleeping state that are there to evolve you. It's just evolving consciousness. There's no good or bad. There's just learning and experience. We are the experiencers, and we got to witness our dreams at night, witness our dreams during the day, our daydreams as well, become aware, which means lucid, wake up in your dreams, whether they're daydreams where you drift off, or night dreams, good or bad nightmares, or heavenly experiences. It's all there as information for our consciousness. So Karen's saying my dreams are all about being on the first day of school when I didn't know where we were, heading for the next tour, but was too embarrassed to ask. Yeah, well, that might be you might be in a loop there. That might be a real event. Sometimes our dreams loop, like sometimes another loop in our day experience would be that you're always getting sacked from work, or you're always being insulted, or you're always going into disastrous relationships, or you're always making bad investments, or you always win, or you're always lucky. These are loops. And even the good experiences you should grow from in the same way as the bad experiences. Don't languish in a comfort zone. Always challenge yourself. So there's so many interesting facets to daydreams and night dreams, and drifting off voluntarily or involuntarily. And if you're interested in dreams and trance work, then you really want to do the programming and self-hypnosis course that I'm offering mid-September for 75 quid, because that will really empower you, and you'll be able to understand how to have far more influence in your own life by self-programming yourself, and conversationally how you can have more power and influence for other people. I was starting to say, and it's a subject in itself, hi Vivian, that this picture behind me I can't see unless I turn around and see it. Now I can see it because I've got a camera pointing at it. But when I turn round, I animate it through the process of observation, that my eyes, as I put it out there, excite that picture into the physical world. That until I look at it, it's just uncoded energy. And because of my level of understanding, I see that as blue and green and black and a white eye, and I call that a phoenix. A phoenix is an archetype, but even if it was a cup of tea or a brass duck on the wall, like in Coronation Street, Hilda Ogden's Three Ducks, don't matter what it is that I'm looking at, when I turn away, it actually goes back into a blank screen. And then when I turn round, it shows up. Now you might say, well, how come other people are seeing things in different parts of the world where I'm not? So how come there's a war going on in Russia because I'm not in Russia? Well, there's other people there in Russia looking at it. Other people in China, other people in France, other people in Scotland, where you're not, maybe, unless you are. And they're part of you. We're all connected. We all have a point of attention, which is what has started, and we're all creating the world as we see it. The world that we see comes from you and me. So if you want to see a different world, you've got to change your perception. You've got to stop coding it in a way. And you can recode it. I'll be teaching you that, how to code your experience, how to reframe things in this picture that you create out there on the cinema screen of your mind, but it's perceived to be the outside world. And that brings us nicely into the next question, which comes from Rose in South Africa, saying, how do I incorporate the quantum healing codes into virtual healing? Now, Rose is in my Mind, Body, Spirit group, and we do a lot of healing because I call them my spiritual warriors. And when the world started to get a bit naughty, I realised that we needed to create, for me, an inner circle of people who I trusted and who trusted me to take them to a level of understanding so that they could be powerful as individuals, so they could work where they were and have a massive power. But as a collective, we could, what I call, vibrate, radiate and create. Vibrate, raise the vibration. Radiate the vibration. And then create what we want. So we're going to create healing, create balance, create positivity, radiate love to places that are dark, send light. So this decoding of something that you can't see actually is done mathematically. Tesla talks about this. If you're a computer programmer, you're actually working with BIOS, and Jimmy, who's a computer programmer, knows there's an algorithm. Well, there's an algorithm to the world. It's called the Fibonacci code and many other things. And this is why numerology is important beyond the day you were born and, you know, how your name is constructed with numbers and letters. I mean, that's all valid and it works. But we know, like, the 666 represents evil, and we know all that, but there's a lot more to it. And the positive side of this algorithm of mathematics tells us a lot about our crystalline structure, which is what I said in the beginning, that you're looking at this on a LCD screen. And I think in maybe a couple of decades' time, if we haven't destroyed the planet and broken down society, Frank, I think we'll be looking at holographic televisions, and we'll have moved from virtual reality where we need goggles on our face, and we won't need goggles on our face, but hopefully they won't be connected to AI to do it, because I think that would be damaging to our consciousness. But the question that she asked was, how do I incorporate the quantum healing codes? Now, quantum healing codes are channeled sequences of numbers. In other words, spirit, as I've talked about before, have revealed clues to us as to how the universe is constructed, how we actually perceive what we call the material world, the projection, as I've said. And this might be a bit deep, and if you want to ask me about it on a one-to-one and just have a chat, I'm here for that. But virtual healing is absent healing or distant healing. It's where you project a vibration, a frequency, an oscillation to raise the vibration of somebody who's in low vibration, somebody who's in stress. And if they're in stress, they haven't got ease, they haven't got relaxation, they're not in a trance state, because they're all over the place. They're in fight and flight or freeze, which isn't conducive to relaxation. And the absence of relaxation, the absence of ease, creates dis-ease. I'm sure you've heard it before, but I love that the absence of ease creates dis-ease. That if you're not happy, you won't be pleased. And in the word pleased is the word eased. It's PL, eased, pleased. If you're not pleased and happy with your life, if you've not getting your goals and setting your goals and living on purpose, positively, lovingly, high vibration, then you won't be pleased. You've got no smile on your face. You'll be going around cursing, thinking you're a victim, blaming everybody else usually, as I did in the past and still can do because I'm not perfect, get it wrong. But when I get it wrong, I correct myself in the moment and sort myself out. Because I know that if I'm not pleased, not happy, if I'm stressed and I allow things to get to me, then I can't be high vibration, that the world doesn't come from me. I'm a victim and it's coming at me. And the world I see comes from me. So I've got to be high vibration. And through using quantum healing codes, I can heal myself. As Rose has just said, I used the codes this week on myself. And there's not just quantum healing codes, there's quantum healing symbols. And I teach a whole process of that. That's something in my Mind, Body, Spirit group, but we might do a course on that as we get towards the end of the year. If you guys want this stuff, you can either wait or you can ask me and we can connect and get together. But virtual healing is absent healing. It's where you embrace somebody else, whether they're with you or not, and you send them healing. And it's not from you. I'm not got a big ego about this. I don't think I'm powerful, but I know that connected to the universe, I'm super powerful. And you've probably seen some of my demonstrations. So that said, it's not about flipping coins, spinning straws, moving pens and glasses, although that's just evidence for people. It's evidential. It gives them confidence that something's happening in this empty space between my palms. But there's power everywhere in empty space. We're living with a massive screen, which we call the world, and we project onto it with vibration. You're seeing me now on your device because of vibration. You're getting Wi-Fi and you're a docking station and your device is a docking station and we are Bluetoothing to each other. I mean, my voice vibrates and you can hear it on your eardrum. It's vibration. You see through vibration. So we're talking before about, Pamela having poor eyesight and she used her other senses. And the blind lady I was talking to, if you missed the beginning, really interesting story about my Aunt Ethel from Prestwich, who served a cup of tea to a blind lady in a residence where the blind were being looked after in their old age. And this other resident was talking to an empty chair, but to the blind lady who didn't judge there's nobody there because she was blind, she was having a perfectly good conversation with, in my opinion, a soul without a body. And we can do that. We can become clairvoyant, see things in the invisible. We can become clairaudient, hear things out of the invisible, and clairsentient, feel things out the invisible. And this clair is clear seeing, clear hearing, clear feeling. So we're not distracted by shit. We shift, we go into a trance state, a dream state, and out of the algorithm comes other non-sensory constructs that you can't destroy energy and you can't create it. And before we were here, but we didn't have a body. And when we've lost this body, we'll still be here. You don't go anywhere. Hi, Beatrice, you do not go anywhere. It's so powerful. So quantum healing, virtual healing, is assisted by intention and attention. Those are the two most powerful forces in the universe. Where you put your attention, as I say, what you look at, you create. And then you've got to have a reason for looking at it and an intention. So you can look at it lovingly or you can look at it aggressively. And whatever you look at in that state, you'll change. So you approach a dog, say nothing, and vibrate fear, the dog will have you. You vibrate aggression, the dog will probably still defend itself and come and have you. Have you means attack you. But if you come at a dog or a lion or a giraffe or a person with peace and love and positivity, you don't even have to say a word and they'll pick up on that and that will change that outcome. So I don't get into fights even though I'm a fourth Dan. Because I don't project that I want to fight. I know I can, but I never have to. And if I did fight, I would consider I've lost. And your communication should come from you as a thought field and a love field, and your energy should introduce you. And quantum healing codes, you can tweak the vibration. So you've got attention and intention, and then these codes have been channeled, and they work. They're globally available, but I've collected about 700 of them for different scenarios, and also developed some quantum healing symbols. And we live in a world of images. We live in a world of symbols and numbers and mathematics. It's very scientific, but you won't be taught it at school. You'll be doing algebra and Latin that's no good to you whatsoever. You won't be learning this important stuff because the governments who govern your mentality don't want you to have power. This makes you super powerful, and I'll be teaching this and sharing this for free on MrG TV and putting some of the advanced stuff into courses. So the last question that I'm going to ask is Pamela Barrett, who has actually been asking a question, and she said, I'm dreaming more now and remembering them. I mean, this is really important, in my opinion, that you are aware of your dreams, that you're aware of everything, that, as I say, you are the witness, you are the experiencer. Because if you just go to bed and shut down for 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, okay, it's good downtime, but it is downtime. I think you can survive on 4 or 5 hours of sleep. In fact, I thrive on that. I work more and get more done. I enjoy more. And I've made a contract with myself that I'm okay with that. Whatever you decide, you can create. Whatever you perceive, you achieve. So if you say, I need to eat a meal because I'm hungry, then you will. But you don't need to eat as much as you eat. You don't need to drink as much as you drink. You don't need to have things, do things, be things. You can just keep life very simple, very fun, and very loving and powerful. We're just human beings. You just have to be. Be powerful, be loving, be charismatic, be inspirational, smile. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, have a lie in. Absolutely. Absolutely. So be aware of your dreams. Pay attention to the themes of your dreams. These are called memes, memories and dreams and stories within themes, because they're telling you something. They're actually telling you something. And you're going to trance doing tarot and doing metaphysical work, doing virtual healing. Driving the car puts you into trance. Walking, first mile it's conscious, and then you get into the rhythm. And when you're in the rhythm, you're getting into a super conscious state, as they call it. You're getting into the zone, and that's when you operate at your best. Your memory will be brilliant. You'll be able to remember names, numbers, facts, and information. Your recall will be brilliant. You squeeze your brain like a sponge and it'll come out. When you're stressed and tense, like I said, when you've not got ease, you've got dis-ease. When you're not pleased, you're not ease, you'll remember nothing. You don't function well when you're angry. We're not human being angry. You're human being just being. Just relaxed, pleased and eased. And at that point, you're really, really high performance. Yes, something's changing in you. Well done, Pamela. Well done. So coming in the group, unless you've got any more questions, and if you put questions in the comments, I'll answer them again. But I'm going to bring this to an end with a little bit of information for you for free, MrG TV Facebook. And I'll be putting some stuff out on YouTube, as I am at the moment, recording this on 2 devices. We'll be talking about, and I'm not going to go into it, the law of the land. Look at what I've posted with disassociation works exactly. We'll be looking at the law of the land. We'll be looking at the law of water and what that means if you don't know. Look at the pictures that I put on MrG TV Facebook. But what's more important is I'll be taking you, as we go through the week, into what's called the law of magic. This isn't conjuring tricks, bringing rabbits out of hats and doing all this business and making something appear. Card tricks, no. A cup, 3 cups and a ball. not that sort of magic. I'm talking about esoteric magic, the magic of your ESP, the magic of your extra senses, because you're just locked in, as we said before, into this body, 5 senses, and that's really limiting. And it's not who you are, it's not where you came from, it's not where you're going. And you can actually experience all the gifts of the spirit, the gifts that you had before you had a body, while you got a body. That's cool. You don't have to wait to die to be able to fly. You don't have to dream that you can breathe underwater and you can do all these amazing things like Superman, Superwoman, Spider-Man. You get your superpowers in your waking state. That's really cool. That's how you get remissions when people have got cancer or people haven't walked and they get up out of the wheelchair and walk at Lourdes. Or they go to the healing well at Holywell, the holy well. That's the etymology of that. And they experience miracles, like Jesus was able to, supposedly the stories, metaphors, learning, or reality irrelevant. It can be done today. Your eyes can reawaken, you can see. You can walk if your legs don't work. You can get remissions on cancers and tumours. You can shift your body chemistry with thought, attention, healing, vibration, healing codes, vicarious healing, distant healing, quantum healing, virtual healing. So that's really powerful. I'll be teaching you that. So tune in for that, guys. Look for the hypnosis training, self-hypnosis programming course for 75 quid. I know how much that's worth. I know how much I paid for my training. And if you Google self-hypnosis courses, they're anything from 1,200 to 3,800. And you're getting 3 days for 75 quid and an opportunity to meet me in Colwyn Bay at Aspire for a workshop for a day to learn how to drop yourself into instant trance for healing, for metaphysical work, for performance. I'll be teaching that in the course, but we'll actually have a one-to-one. You're doing it, Rose. Well done. And also I'll teach you how to use what's called street hypnosis techniques, like you've seen Darren Brown do, like you've seen Paul McKenna do. That's what I do. And it's not a camera trick, and there's no setup. I haven't got a crew, I haven't got a cast, I haven't got cameras. I'll do it to you like I do all my metaphysical things. Went to the pub the other night, it's all on YouTube. Somebody asked me to do something, bang, I moved a fork in front of them, they filmed it, nothing in my hands. Everybody thinks it's elastic bands and magnets. No, it's not. Everybody thinks when I give them electric shock that I've got some device. No, I haven't. Everybody thinks that when I say I can get your hands to stick to your head, that you can forget your name, that you can't walk, that your legs don't work, that that's the trick, that it's all been set up. No, it isn't. Meet me and I'll do it for free. Really, really, really powerful you are. There's nothing clever about me. I've learnt this stuff. I'm good at it. I can teach you to do it. You'll be good at it. So what you're saying there, Pamela, I just that it all stems from your childhood. What all stems from your childhood, Pamela? I'm sorry I missed that theme. And Rose is saying she's doing an NLP course. It's hugely interesting. NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. That's where I started with a company called Performance Partnership back in 1995. It cost me 2,500 quid to become a master practitioner, and then I went on to specialise in hypnosis. I spent about £7,000 on my training. Self-hypnosis training, you get it free online, but trust me, you make your own decision about the quality of that training. And there's all sorts of other Udemy academies, and I don't want to, but they're offering massage training and certification that you're doing online. How can you learn massage online? And you've never massaged anybody and nobody's seen you and you're not under supervision and you're not police checked. Come on, guys. Don't fall for it. How can you become a Reiki master in a week online by reading something with no experience of vibration or contact, or no healing experience, no tutoring, no what they call continual professional development, CPD, no governing bodies, no standards? So don't fall for it. Don't take any shortcuts. There's no power in shortcuts. Do it properly. Not saying that my training is any better. I'm not trying to be elitist here or be clever. I'm just saying, judge for yourself and make sure that the person that you trust your mind to, your energy to, your money to, make sure that they can do what they say they can do. If you've got a life coach, look at their life. If you've got a success coach, are they successful or are they exploiting students? Follow their life. You can see it all on Facebook. I've got nothing to hide and everything to share, and it's 75 quid. It's up to you. Tarot training will be the same. I am a working tarot tutor. I'm a Reiki Institute practitioner. I'm under license accreditation, same as my daughter. And we're all fellows at different institutes, and I've done a psychology degree, as has my daughter. So we know that we're sounds to pound. So just make sure that wherever you go, that you know who you're going to and you're going to get what you expect. So Pamela's saying, what traumas or happiness you experience in childhood creates your life beyond. Just my opinion. Interesting. I agree. I agree. And I have the same opinion. But I also think that you've signed up to that story. That even if you came into the world and died in the womb, or if you were born into an abusive family, or you had an unfortunate sickness, that it's not unfortunate, it's what you signed up for. And I can prove that to you when we get together, because, and Rose is saying you can shift from anything. You know, basically, yeah, you'll love the tarot, Jane. Basically, Pamela, I mean, none of the things that have happened to me in terms of my stroke, my spine injury, I wanted, but I needed them. It took me to a better place. And I know I chose them before I came here. Even the stuff I didn't want, it's what I needed. And you might not realize that you need it until you go back into spirit world and you go, why the hell did that happen to me? And then it'll be explained. Because when I do regressions, you have what's called a soul review. There's a Akashic file, and everything is stored. Everything that you think, everything you say, every action, every deed, every intention, where you put your attention, as we talked about before, it's all recorded. There's no mistakes in a perfect world. All this shit that we see is put there by you and me to shift from. Anything that happens is all there for our growth, even the bad stuff. And it's not bad stuff, it's just stuff. Just stories, just stories. Nobody at the moment is experiencing death through illness, murder, war, adverse. It's just a story. It's like believing that when you put the television on, that stuff is true. Watch Coronation Street and, oh, Deirdre Barlow's died. And this has happened. I know that's an old story, but Deirdre Barlow is a fiction, and you're a fiction. When we get into the law of the land and the law of water and the law of magic, you'll realise that you are a fiction. You are a fiction, both legally and esoterically. You are a fiction. Some people are not able to overcome the stories. I agree, but that's part of their story, and that's perfect. That's perfect. They were never meant to be. Some people, as I say, get knocked over by a 22 bus. And they might have been on a wonderful mission. My mum died at 61. She was a beautiful lady with a kind heart. And she just retired to Wales and never enjoyed it. But that was always meant to be, and that was perfect. My father died at 81 with lots more inside him. He was delivering communion for his local church to people who were infirm at home, and he died, and nobody was doing that after he went. And you could say, what a tragedy. No, it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. There's no bad stories, Pamela, in my opinion. No bad stories at all in a perfect world. And we don't understand it because there's been a veil pulled over the truth. That's why I'm here, to reveal the truth. Not just me, there's many people who are doing it. And you don't have to believe it, Pam. Don't have to believe it, I'm just offering it. But the veil is V-E-I-L, which is an anagram of evil, E-V-I-L. You've heard me say it before. We're just being told that people coming and going through this temporary vehicle called the body, in this construct called the world, in this universe, which is super powerful, that it's real. It's not real. This is a dream. All the abuse that we get hung up on is a dream. It's not happening. It's a story. It's an evil story, but it's like an evil nightmare that doesn't exist. You've got to shine love and light into these stories. And as Rose is saying, exactly agree, my words also, we are gods and we create. And we can shine love and light into these stories, but even us as gods, we're cooperating to find ourselves with the perpetrators who are also part of us. Life is but a dream. Because the universe, exactly, when your soul has learned its purpose, why continue? Because nothing is stagnant, Pam. Even in a perfect world, there'll be this, we live in a duality of it's polarity, positive and negative, which isn't good and bad, it's positive and negative. So where we are with it is, even if you lived in a purely positive world, you still have negative, because it's a wave. It's a wave. And it's actually called a sine wave. Now we're getting into subjects which I wasn't going to talk about, but we can. It's a sine wave. If you understand quantum theory, quantum healing, vicarious programming, and also the way a wave works, it's called a sine wave. Take the ear off it. It's a sin wave. It's a sin wave. Anything where there's form, there's sin. It's the fluctuations between what we call positive and negative, but it's not true. Creation at all times, correct. We're always evolving. We are intelligent creators, and we're creating what we perceive as good and bad. And we've got to get to a place where you say, and you know what I'm going to say, Pam, with great respect, anybody in my group, that didn't get to me. That didn't get to me. Even if you saw somebody, I don't want to offend you, if you saw somebody shot in the streets or your cat was run over, my dog, who I nursed, Neo, in Thailand, when he had a stroke, I was mortified, but it's just a story. I had to get over it. He's fine, but it's just a story. And if I'd have kept in a low vibration, I couldn't have healed him. It's just a story. Unfortunately, that had a good outcome. It might not have done, but I would still say it's just a story. I told you at the beginning, my father died August the 14th. I could go to the creme today with tears. I won't be able to go to the creme on the 14th. I'm in Torquay. I took a flower from Catherine's garden, my daughter, and placed it there. And I had a smile on my face because he taught me, I had a contract with my dad before I came here, before I was born, whatever that means, before my spirit, I had a contract with my dad's spirit, before he was born and I was born, I had a contract to help each other evolve. We need pictures and images to evolve. We live in a world of images. That's what we call our imagination. It's the nation. This is the nation of images, imagination. This is all our imagination. And when we master our imagination, we can shift creation. When we master our imagination, we can shift creation. And that actually, I'll leave it at that because that's massive what I've just said. And that's part of the trance training and the self-hypnosis training that you can enjoy in September for 75 quid. Jane's last comment. Maybe because our purpose is so great, it takes many lifetimes and many stages of evolution, here or elsewhere, to get a true experience of our purpose. I think we're always going to reincarnate and reinvent ourselves. I just think that eventually we don't come back with a body, and eventually we don't come back into this shithole, which is a shift hole, not a wormhole, to learn anything more about the physical. When we realise and we get out of our loops of repeat behaviour, we'll go to heaven, whatever that is and wherever that is. I think it's here, just covered by a veil of evil, and we've got to get past the evil, and we'll see how beautiful you and me, we are, and how beautiful the universe is. Be powerful, guys. Enjoy your mind. Thanks for joining me for Ask Mike Monday on a Sunday. I'm going to Torquay. I'm still available to you. Keep checking back for more for free from me. God bless you guys. What a great chat. You honour me. Good night.